How much ICP do you need to hold to become a millionaire? Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome. My name's Jack, and I've been living my childhood dream of travelling full time for 5 years and counting. I make videos that give you investing information that you can actually use to make real money and avoid those horrible losses. Hit subscribe now, and I'll help you stay on the right side of the market consistently over time. Subscribe. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how much ICP you need to hold to get $1 million when ICP hits our price targets. And at the end of the video, I am going to show you a strategy that I use to accumulate ICP, altcoins and stocks without ever investing my own money from my salary. So I really hope you stick around to learn that strategy. So into the charts we go. And the way we're going to do this, guys, is we have already covered price targets for ICP on the channel. So if you haven't already watched that video, do go ahead and do that now and come back to this one. However, I'm going to continue and assume that you have already watched that video where we highlighted some targets on ICP and also give you reasons why these targets are in our sights. So the first target we've got here, we've got a slightly more realistic target, and we've got a higher, very optimistic target. So we've got $90 at the lower end and $150 at the higher end. And again, guys, check my last video to see the reasons why we have actually chosen these targets. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do some calculations to figure out how much ICP we need to be accumulating at these lower levels to eventually make $1 million at these higher levels. So we're going to give two examples here. Starting out with the higher target, why not? Let's get optimistic for a moment. Let's take $150, okay? What we're going to do is that we are going to take $1 million and we're going to divide it by 150, which just gives us 6,666.6666666. So that is how much ICP you would need to accumulate today. Now, what does that look like in USD? So we're going to go on to CoinGecko here to figure that out on terms of how much ICP, how much USD you need right now to actually accumulate that ICP. So we're going to keep this just at 6,666, and at today's price, you would need $31,600 to eventually turn that into 1 million when ICP hits those higher levels at 150. Now, and I will actually write this on the screen here. So, okay, next one, we will look for the lower target at $90. So again, same process, guys, getting the calculator out and having a look. So I'm going to move myself into the corner. We're going to take 1 million, we're going to divide it by 90, which is going to give us 11,111 ICP, which we need to accumulate. Guys, these are pretty positive numbers. I don't know if you know anything about astrology or not, but I mean, when you see 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, like that's, I don't know, maybe it's a sign, who knows. You're learning something new in this video. Take 1 second right now to hit subscribe so I can help you in the future. Yeah, in all seriousness, let's get back to the video. So if we take 11,000, I'm just going to keep this simple at 11,111. That gives us $52,666 you would need to invest at today's prices. So again, we're going to take this over to our chart, and there you have it. At today's prices, this is how much you will need to invest, both in your dollar valuation and the amount of units you would need to accumulate for each potential outcome here. So with that covered, I know that a lot of my viewers are new investors or beginners and may not have the capital necessary for an investment like that. And even, to be honest, even at a higher level, I would never really recommend going all into an altcoin with a huge amount of capital if it's too much out of your comfort zone. So what I do, I never invest money from my salary in altcoins. I invest in Bitcoin from my salary. I invest in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ from my salary, but I never invest in individual stocks or altcoins from my salary because I do something different. I believe in not throwing my money into the market. I like to allow the market to pay me for my time being involved here. And I'm going to show you right now how you can do this moving forward and how you can stop taking money out of your wages, out of your salary, and pouring it into the cryptoverse. Okay, so let's talk about that right now. I'm going to make myself smaller so we can pay attention to what's actually going on here. So ICP, unfortunately, guys, does not have a lot of history here for me to actually show you this property. So I'll show you another example as well. But basically, what we're talking about here is that whenever we're in an uptrend, right, let's assume that you have bought some ICP here at one of these local lows. What we look for, guys, is key pivot points, right? I'll show you one major example here is this pivot point here. And before you think that this was just a random high, it actually wasn't. It was previous support, which flips into, this was a pivot point already. This was on the charts, right? Because of this price action here turned out to be the point where it turned around. And you can predict this very, very easily, guys. Very easy. So when I see a level like that, a pivot point, I will set 5, 10, 15% of my bag of that altcoin to be sold at this level. And when that happens, when you sell at this level without any emotion, the price usually pulls back a little bit. When the price usually reacts at these pivot points. And simply by selling a little bit here, 10, 15% of your portfolio, you were able to accumulate basically 36% extra units on what you sold. It's free money, guys. It's free coins, and it happens over and over again. And let's assume that you rebought back there. You went and got another 106%, and you could just sell again, guys. You could just sell again. It's that same level that it ran into. And then once you sold here, you were able again to buy back down low. And where do you buy it back in? Well, I like to use the 2-day EMA band. So let's go back to that same price action that we were looking at there now. And you can see, once we got that rejection, guys, the price usually comes back to the EMA band to retest it. And so you've got a very obvious place to sell. You've got a very obvious place to buy. It isn't rocket science, but simply by doing this again and again, over months, over years, you massively accumulate more coins and more wealth, and you're able to grow your portfolio without ever actually touching your salary, which I love, and it allows me to have a much clearer head about the markets. Now, that's very limited data that we have on ICP just because of the nature of it. Now, let's look at another example. We'll look at something that's been around for a while. Let's look at ADA. Yeah, let's look at ADA. So we're going to put this out to the weekly time frame to give us a nice big view. And let's look at the last cycle. So what we're looking for, guys, is those pivot points. So let's assume that we've accumulated our ADA at lower prices, and now we're going to mark our pivot points. So the first obvious one is this one here. See, when you see a level like this where you've got multiple touch points, so you've got here, 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 and you see how the price kind of reacts around this level. We target this level with a sell order, and we will sell 5, 10, 15% of our portfolio to buy back in. So the first time this happened, we'll zoom in. We caught it here, and that ended up giving us an extra 27% for nothing, for free, right? Now, it's not perfect. It doesn't work every time. So the next one, I would have been targeting this level here, this minor pivot point here. But you can see, actually, this time the price actually broke through it, although it did eventually get that pullback. If we look even further then, and we look at this one here, you can see price hit the level. We had a sell order in here. Price hit the level, and boom, we got ourselves an extra 30% again. Even though it looks like nothing on the chart, guys, that's an extra 30% adding to your bag. If we look again at the next level, right, let's take this one. You can see, if I just put a line on the chart here, that very obvious level, guys, you can see whenever the price hit that, we were able to, now it did go up a little bit further, but still, you were able to sell there, and you got an extra 33%. And you can see, guys, over time, as you continue to do this, it keeps working. Look, there's another example right here, another example right here. This is how you play the market. This is how you play the altcoin market. This is how you increase your wealth without actually having to risk your own salary, right? And I promise you guys, if you're doing it like this, you're going to make better decisions as well. Because I find, even for me, like, even though I've got years of experience in the markets, when I'm playing with my own salary, you're sort of attached to that. It brings more emotions into it. You get more worried. Whereas when you're doing like this, it's pretty emotionless. It's basically looking at a pivot point, easy to spot pivot point on the chart, and selling. It is simple. And if you do this and spend time on the charts, looking at this and back testing this, you're going to unlock a new world in the altcoin market, where you're able to accumulate your coins, accumulate your wealth, without having to risk your own salary. So guys, it has been a pleasure presenting this video to you. I hope you got some value from it. If you did, please do consider hitting the subscribe button, clicking the notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.